Hi all, welcome back. I've been busy working on building some different types of buildings for the layout. So I thought I'd give you a little update here. Let's pull this Pacific 3715 out of the yard, and we'll show you some of the work we have going on. Heading south out of Middlesex Yard onto the main line. You can see the Chelmsford Street Bridge. That construction is completed. I also built the stone wall by Lowell Station. We'll have her come down. She'll pull into Lowell Station here. But while we're looking at that, while we're waiting for her to come around, I'll zoom this in a little bit. So you can see some of the work we've got on there. We use the Chooch stone to make that. I use the Rick's Bridge, some plaster. You also see we've updated the station decking with some basswood. And you'll see there's a new building at the station. This is actually the REA, Railroad Express Agency Terminal building. I'm not sure exactly. I think what I'll do here is have part of it be Railroad Express. The other part of it would be a B&M office. Took me some time to complete that. I put some view blocks in there. And we have 3715 pulling into the Lowell station right now. We'll let her pull up and stop, get the milk car out on the freight dock there. Alright, give the passengers a chance to get on and off. And while we do that, I'm going to pick this up and show you a little more of this building. I think it came out pretty nice. I haven't decaled it yet. I've got to get some decals, which I will do. And I also want some local business. So right now we're looking at Lowell. We're looking at the area right around the old train station. And you can see I have the crossing here for Middlesex Street. We've got a couple of buildings. My grandson, my 7-year-old grandson, actually helped me make this one. This is an old Walthers kit that we painted up and weathered, and I think it helped make it look a bit more realistic. I'll pick it up. I'll give you a sense of what it looks like on the other side. I'll put some nice photos in the front screen there. These other buildings here are model power kits that we picked up years ago and that we've weathered to make a little more realistic. I haven't glued the sidewalk down yet. I will get to that once we finish out exactly where the street's going to go. Now the other building we've added, you can see it in the background, that is the River City Textile background building that Walthers makes. It was sort of a late 50s era building, and Lowell actually had several buildings that looked like this. And this one here will actually use to model Joan Fabrics building. I'll show you a little more of that in the middle. We'll get this locomotive out of the station. And while she's pulling out, we'll take a closer look. You can see that is going to be the end of the Mill Spur. I'll trim those tracks off once we know exactly how everything's going to line up there. But that building front, that background building actually is going to work out pretty good. We'll have 2 tracks here. Now what's interesting about these 2 tracks is you can see I'm starting to map out the Mill Spur. So let me just walk back here to the start of the Mill Spur. So here's Lowell Station. That GP7 is actually on the Mill Spur service line. It'll come out behind the buildings. is going to cross around. I've got a Shinohara curved turnout here. We'll have two curved tracks on the lower level that are going to swing around, and they'll cross the canal. And so there's actually some fancy switching. I'm going to have to build a series of small girder bridges to get the cars, the locomotive across the canal. Where you see those switches by the bridge, that's going to be cut out for a canal. So when the switcher comes in, he'll be able to switch cars out on this double track. I'll actually have another end switch on here so you can get around. But the trick for people switching is you're only going to have room for 2 cars and a small switcher on this tail track. So you'll be able to back one freight car right up to Joan Fabrics. Where you see the REA Express car right now, that's actually going to be a tail track that'll serve this turnout, this curved turnout in the foreground that you see that leads to the white paper. That white paper are actually templates for the Proto 87 industrial trackage system, and I have that on order, and when it gets here we're going to install these tracks in a plastic cobblestone that Proto 87 manufactures, along with their low-profile industrial trackage. Because that was what we have. We still have some of it in the city of Lowell, in some of the city streets and the cobblestones, serving some of the mills and running right through parts of the city. And I'll slowly move us around here. I hope it's not too fast for you. Slowly move you along here to the other side of the layout, and you can see there's a new building in place over here. And this is another background building that represents the mill complex that was right next to the Stony Brook, the North Chelmsford Y. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can get a better look at that. That's another Walthers background building kit. I actually hacked 2 of them together, bashed 2 of them together to make it a little longer. You can see in the photos next to it, that's an actual picture of the mill right next to the Y. And then a little further up here, you can see I've marked up the North Chelmsford Station, and then the Kingsborough Bridge is in the background. So you can get a sense of where I'm heading with all this. And I can still run trains while I'm getting the work done. Still have a few more buildings to build, but it looks a little more realistic running the trains around here with some buildings in place, some period buildings. So that's my update for now. I hope you've enjoyed what you're seeing. I will keep working over the weekend and get some more of this updated. In the meantime, I hope you had a great New Year and enjoy your trains.